Oof.
Bam.
This main event, man. This goddamn main event. I like it because Chris Weidman's always wanted to fight here. It's in his hometown, right? It's in Long Island. He drives by that arena, while he's getting into fighting. He's always wanted to fight there. He's always wanted to be a headline there. I just don't like how soon it is after his last fight. Because remember, so he loses Mousasi in that weird controversial win. He's winning the first round. Then he takes some serious blows. Before that, he's fighting Yoel Romero. Obviously, he's doing well in the first round. Then he takes some serious blows. He takes a flying knee, a Cuban missile knee from Yoel Romero to the face. And then before that, it's a Luke Rockhold fight. But there's a common theme with all these fights. Luke Rockhold, I had Chris Weidman doing very well. I had him up at least he's winning 2 rounds there, I think. He's doing well. Yoel Romero, that first round, he's doing great. Laying some takedowns, even though Yoel's popping up. He's laying takedowns, and Yoel's starting to get tired. Then he lands a knee. Gegard Mousasi, again, doing well. And then, obviously, he starts to kind of, I guess you could say, wither away. And then he gets TKO via the knees, and he thought it was illegal. But it's a bummer, man. And then with Kelvin, his last loss, which is so stupid, he gets flagged for weed, so it's a no contest. But since he's came to the middleweight division, it's hard to argue he's not one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
He looked great against Tim Kennedy. I don't know if that's a matter of Tim Kennedy being 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I think it's Vitor Belfort. It's a non-PD Vitor, and he just gets murked. But, you can't hate on Kelvin for who they give him, and he's murking all these guys and looking great at doing it. But he hasn't really passed a 185 test. Name the best 8 guy he's beat at 85. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say Kennedy, but
it's Kennedy who's also shooting a show chasing Nazis
and
on
retired right
History
after.
Channel, and retires right after, and he's also active duty for the military special forces. He's the toughest guy he's beat. I think Tim Kennedy's the toughest guy to ever grace the octagon for obviously many of reasons. But, Tim Kennedy 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He had other obligations going on. And then you fight, in Performance on Night, Vitor Belfort in Brazil. But again, it's a Vitor dad bod Vitor. So again, that's not knocking my hair off. I'm not hating on these guys. People always say, oh, you hate on Francis and you take a picture of him. I don't hate on Francis. I don't buy into the hype until there's a reason for me to buy into it. There's a big difference. Either you're a fanboy or you're a hater. No, there's a huge middle ground where I'm a fan of Kelvin, I'm a fan of Francis, but I'm not ready to give them the belly. I'm not ready to crown him the next king. So I think there's a lot of potential in Kelvin. He's passed every test, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be champ. But if he goes in there and does work against Chris Weidman in front of a home crowd, all right, there you go. All right, there you go. Then let's see what's next. But there's other tough tasks for him after Chris Weidman. For Chris Weidman's hope, I hope he comes together. I just don't like the timing of the fight. I wish he had more time to rest. It's tough for me to pick against Chris Weidman in Long Island in front of his home crowd. If Chris loses one, what do you do? Four losses in a row?
Yeah, man. He's got to probably bounce.
I think Chris can use his wrestling there to his advantage. It's a 5-round fight. I think, as far as cardio is on Kelvin's side. Again, I always tell you guys, don't bet on a lot of my picks, especially when I know a guy. My heart's with Weidman, and I want him to see him get done. I think no matter what happens to Kelvin, he's young. He's eventually going to be champ in either 70 or 85. So I'm rooting for Chris. I don't know if he gets done against Kelvin. I also don't think Weidman takes this fight unless it's in his hometown. So that bothers me. I think Chris would have passed on this fight, especially with all the momentum Kelvin has going for him. It's a bad idea for Chris. Kelvin matches up. He's a better striker. He has better cardio. He's on this huge momentum right now. And then you got Chris Weidman, who, goddamn, he needs a win. If this fight isn't in Long Island, Chris, I would imagine his team passes on this fight, which is scary. So my heart is rooting for Chris, man. It really is. Would I put money on him? I sure would not. But I hope Chris gets it done.
Damn, I got Chris. I don't know why. I just have a feeling like this is it for him, so he has to do it. But I hear you with the money thing.
Kelvin's a tough customer, man.